Everyone is telling you to teach. Teach what you know, give away your best stuff, be generous, be useful, and the money will flow. Come on. If you're over 40 and you've been putting out free value for months now, wondering why nobody's actually buying anything, you already know it doesn't quite work like that. You see, there's a step that comes way before teaching, but nobody is naming it. So in this video, I'm going to show you what that step is and how to do it using the experience that you're already sitting on. Now, I bet you've got a folder somewhere on your laptop, some drafts, half-finished things that you recorded and never posted. And every few weeks you sit down like this and you think, right, that's it. I'm going to film something. And you teach something, the really good stuff, the thing you'd charge for if anybody asked. You get some views and somebody says, lovely, that was exactly what I was looking for. It's really helpful, thanks. And then 6 months later, after you've built an audience of people who are very, very grateful, you have never been given a penny from them. Sound familiar? Now, I was a police officer for 10 years, 8 of those as a detective. And when I started building my own thing, I did exactly what everyone is telling you to do. I taught weekly, properly, really deep. I mean, I had a Facebook group in COVID called Tea with Stig with 1,400 people who needed help. And it rarely made me a penny. Now, I'll show you the numbers on that later because they're a bit crazy and you'll want to see them. The teaching, you see, it wasn't the problem. It was arriving into a head that just wasn't ready for it. Because here's what I think is really going on. There are about 6 beliefs that are sat in your head right now that are stopping you before you even start. And I want to be really careful how I say this. You didn't choose any of them. You didn't sit down at 19 and go, right, this is how I'm going to think about business. They were installed by your parents who got them from their parents, by a post-war society that said, get a job, keep your head down, and don't stand out. Just think about that for a moment. See, the programming was written for a world where you worked for someone for 40 years and they gave you a pension and a clock. Most of you watching this didn't even exist back then, yet you've been running that programming all your life. And it was never written for your life. It was written for someone else's. So we're going to go through them, all 6, and I'm going to take them apart for you, one at a time. Okay, this is the first one, and it's the loudest. You're 49, 55, 62, heck, even in your 70s. And this is this feeling that the clock is running and you're already behind it. That the window is closing or shut and everyone building something online is 26 with a ring light. Now, that belief didn't come from your experience. It came from your parents' experience. They retired at 60 because their bodies had gone. Factory floor, shift work, standing up for 40 years. Retirement was actually a rescue. It was, what do they call it? The reward for surviving. But you're not on a factory floor. You're on the internet. Different rules apply. So let me tell you about Rose. Now, Rose, she's a travel consultant. She's in her early 60s. Decades of knowing exactly how to plan somebody's trip properly. The stuff you can't get from a website. And I want you to hear that, okay? Before she made a single video, before she press record even once, she brought on 6 clients at $2,500 each. That's 15 grand in her first month. No YouTube audience, no viral video, no channel. See, her age wasn't the problem she thought it was. Her age was actually her product. Now, I'm approaching 50 myself with no plans to retire. That's not me being brave about it. I'm doing the best work of my life right now and I'm earning more money than I ever had. This is what I call the second season. And it's not the bit at the end. Now look, if that belief is yours, if it's the age thing that's been stopping you, that's exactly what my YouTube business action plan sorts out. And it shows you that your past is your product and it's easy. There's no call, there's no jumping on Zoom, nothing to turn up for. You go out for a walk and you answer about a dozen questions into your phone. It takes about 20 minutes. Then you send it to me and I build the plan myself. That's it in a nutshell. There's a bit more to it my end, but that's for me to worry about, not for you. There's a link below, have a look, and we'll get into belief number 2. Right, the second one. Every guru on the internet will tell you to niche down. Pick one thing and stay in your lane. Become the person who ever only talks about one thing. But if you're over 40, do you understand what that advice is actually asking you to do? It's asking you to throw away 30 years of everything else that you know and just keep about 4% of your existence. So let me show you what really happened under there. YouTube used to work as a library. You know, make a video and the thing would read your title and your tags and your description and then put you on a shelf, just like that one. Cooking, fitness, business, whatever it was. And then it showed you to people browsing that shelf. And if you wandered off your shelf, if the cooking bloke, say, made a video about divorce, it completely lost you. It didn't know where to put you. That's not what it does now. Now YouTube watches the people. It looks at who watches you, how they behave, what else they're into, how long they stay. And then it goes and finds more people who behave like them. And it shows them you. So this shelf is gone, which means the thing that used to get you punished, being interested in 4 things, having a career, a hobby, a strong opinion, you know, all of that, that's now the thing that builds the cluster. And that's why half of the people winning right now look completely unfocused from the outside. You see, you were never too broad, my friends. You were being sorted by a machine that could only read titles. It can now read people. So don't niche the topic, niche the person. Okay, so belief number 3, build the audience, then earn. I mean, what a crock of 10,000 subscribers and then you're allowed to sell the thing. Meh, what? Here's the numbers I promised you. A few months ago, I was making videos that averaged about 400 views, okay? 400, not 400,000, okay? I want to be really clear because it sounds like a typo. 400 people. In that same window, I launched a new cohort of the Heart Brand Blueprint. How to turn your knowledge, wisdom, skills into an online business using the power of YouTube. And that launch did $24,000. 400 views, 24 grand. And the reason that it works is not clever marketing. It's that those 400 people had already changed their mind about something because of me. Which means by the time I offered them anything, the decision was already made. They weren't being sold to, they were saying yes to something that they'd already decided. So you don't need more viewers. You need viewers who think differently because of you. That's a completely different job. And nobody tells you that's the job. Now, number 4, and this one has changed more in the last 2 years than in the previous 10. The belief is high production, you know, good lighting, scripted, tight. If it doesn't look like TV, then nobody takes you seriously. Now, think about what's actually happened out there. Right now, in 2026, most people genuinely cannot tell whether you're watching something that's made by a human or AI. Not reliably, not anymore. So what does an audience do with that? They start hunting for a signal. The thing that proves there's a person here. The signal isn't your lighting. It's the word that you maybe stumbled over or the stray cat walking into your shot. It's the laugh that, you know, got away from you. It's the moment you completely lose your thread and go, sorry, where was I? And I think I need to do that with Molly walking in. Those used to be the bits that you'd edit out, but now they're the most valuable seconds in your video. You see, perfection reads as a machine, your mistakes read as a human, and the human is the rarest thing right now. Cheers, Molly. Perfect timing. Right, number 5, and this is a big one. It's the one that this whole entire video is about. It's the belief that you just have to keep giving, you know, more value, more free teaching, more generosity. Eventually, the goodwill will turn into sales. Nope. Nope, that's not what happens. Now, whilst there is a slither of truth in it, it doesn't help you stand out. It's the advice that everyone gives, and it's the advice that I followed when I started out. So a few years ago, I stopped teaching directly in most of my videos, and I'm sure you noticed it. I probably do about 1 proper teaching video a month, and this is exactly where people get stuck. They agree with me, and then they sit down and film and haven't got a clue what to make instead. So that's why I built the YouTube Business Action Plan. 12 videos, titles, angles, and the order in which to film them in. And they're not just a content plan, they're a market test, because how people react to those 12 is what tells you how to package your online business. Then me on video, walking you through every decision so that there's nothing left to guess at. I build every one of them myself, so there's only ever a few spaces. There's a link below. But anyway, I stopped teaching. And what happened was the opposite of what I expected. The videos grew. Who'd have thought it? The audience got more loyal, not less. And I made more money than I did when I was actually teaching every single week. And it took me a while to work out why, but it's this. Every time you teach something completely from start to finish, nothing held back, you are confirming the belief that they can get it all for free, which means you're feeding the exact objection that stops them from buying from you. You're not building trust, you're building a library they never have to leave. And here's the bit that actually bothers me about it. It doesn't even work for them because everybody gets stuck. You know, when they're doing something new, we get stuck. That's not failing, it's just what learning is. But they don't get stuck at 11 in the morning with a free afternoon to go to and maybe find with another one of your videos. They get stuck at 9 o'clock at night, don't they? Kids have just gone to bed, the laptop is open, one specific question in their head, and you can't make a video to answer it because you're not there. So they shut the laptop and they stay stuck. You see, they were never short of information, my friends. What they haven't got is somebody sat next to them on the journey, somebody riding the bus with them. And that is the one thing that you cannot give away for free, no matter how generous you are. Now, there's a scene in Ted Lasso. If you watch Ted Lasso, let me know in the comments. Ted's at the dartboard and there's a bloke opposite him. I think his name's Rupert. And he spent the whole scene just humiliating Ted in front of everybody at the bar. And they're playing darts and Ted beats him. And just before that last dart is thrown, he talks about being curious rather than judging people. That's the whole lesson. It's not a module, not a tutorial. One belief landed through a story. And that's what shifting looks like. You can't do it while you're teaching. So now the last one, okay? Social media, algorithms, all of it, built for 25-year-olds. We missed it. We were busy. We didn't miss it, my friends. We built it. The Spectrum, the Commodore 64, those early Apple machines. We were in the room when computing arrived in ordinary houses. We typed programs out of magazines. We waited 20 minutes for a game to load up on a cassette. Did you do that? Let me know. We had careers and mortgages and children, and we looked away for, say, 20 years. That's all that happened. The tech didn't leave us behind. We were doing something else. We were bringing up families. See, the irony of a 22-year-old explaining to you that you're too old for technology while building on an infrastructure that was sat in your living room when you were 5 years old. I mean, come on. They have got things that we haven't, you know, time, bit more energy, the willingness to work 18-hour days and call it a lifestyle. Yeah, fair enough. What we've got is everything that only arrives having lived it. You know, stories, pattern recognition, the judgment that only comes from getting it properly wrong and building something anyway. They have energy, but you have the evidence. Now, I know what's next. You're going to say, oh, he's going to do the lions are leaders and the sheep are followers things. Well, I would if this camera would pick me up properly. Come on. Yes, I am, because it's a cliche for exactly one reason. It's a cliche because it's true. You see, most people will watch this, nod along and agree with all of it, and just go straight back to teaching everything that they know for free and waiting for permission that just isn't coming. Still running the programming that they were handed at birth. A few of you are going to decide that stops today. And if that's you, don't go and start another folder of drafts. 20 minutes talking honestly into your phone. 5 working days and you've got one thing in your history worth building on. The model that actually fits your hours and your first 12 videos in order to film them. There's a link below, as I've shared. Now, three of these 6 beliefs were really the same belief wearing different clothes. Niching down, needing a big audience, needing to look polished. This is not. You see, they all come from the same place. Somebody told you to go and build a personal brand. And if you're over 40, that's the single worst thing that you could do. Not because branding doesn't work, because it does. It just doesn't work for you. And the reason is why I gave a TED talk on this exact subject. And that's the video that's on screen now. It'll show you exactly what to build instead. The thing that never runs out and never, ever cracks. No matter how tired you are on the day you want to hit record.